Traveling with little ones doesn't have to mean sleepless nights, endless tantrums, and a car packed to the brim with just in case items. Imagine a trip where your baby or toddler sleeps soundly, your toddler's happy as can be because they're entertained, and you actually enjoy the journey. I know it sounds crazy, but it is possible. And so in today's episode, I am sharing with you my top travel hacks. So from recreating sleep environments, keeping those feeding and play routines stress-free while you're on the go, so you can travel without feeling chaotic and enjoy and be more calm. And trust me, you won't want to miss the tip that could save the day if your little one's going to get sick. So let's dive in. In our most sleep-deprived moments, our children will teach us exactly what we need in order to learn and grow into who we were created to be. These are the loving lessons we will learn whether we were wanting to or not. I'm Irene Googe, your sleep coach, and I'm on mission to educate parents on how to help their young children sleep. Welcome to the journey. Hello, and welcome to the Loving Lessons Learned podcast. Today, I want to tackle one of the biggest challenges that parents have is traveling with little ones. And I want you to know that we can create routines to make road trips or air travel much easier when you're keeping your kids happy, rested, and enjoying the adventures wherever you are at. It doesn't have to feel so overwhelming. So I'm going to help you create a plan of action today so that you can pack more efficiently, maintain those sleep routines while you're on the go, and keep that playtime and enjoy whatever it is that you're doing to whatever destination you're going. And I'm going to share with you also a quick little tip around recording your child's breathing, which could be a game changer in case you pick up any of those germs, especially if you're flying or driving in cold and flu season. So if you're listening to this, grab a cup of coffee, maybe you're folding some laundry, or maybe you are snuggling someone and tuning in. So this is going to help you hopefully enjoy whatever it is you're doing and start planning and preparing for your travel. I'm going to encourage you to download the Sleep Success while you travel. This is my one-stop shop where I'm sharing all of my best sleep tips. You'll find this podcast there too, so that you can come back and reference and have a less stressful time and keep your sanity while you are traveling. So let's dive in. First, I'm going to highly recommend that you download the Sleep Success while you travel. Here's why. There is the ultimate packing list. And when I discovered this with my boys when they were teens, it changed everything. It really took away that angst and what if we forget something or we pack too much or too little? And so having that packing list has been a game changer. And I want you to know it's a Google Doc. You can tweak and adjust it to personalize it and make it your own. I dive in deeper on how to utilize that, and it is a great tool. And I think that for parents, especially if you have an infant, toddler, or preschooler, that mental load that you're carrying of thinking about the packing list or rewriting the packing list, it wastes a lot of your time and energy. So if you create a routine and a system, it's going to simplify it for you in your home. I also share some tips on how you'll be able to empower your child as they get a little bit older and be able to delegate and let them be a part of that process too. Then it doesn't all fall on you, which is key. You're also going to find there a lot of tips around recreating the environment. Some of my favorite to-go products are the Hatch because it's a sound machine and nightlight all in one, and having sleep out curtains can be really helpful for darkening things. If you're on a budget, you might be going with some black garbage bags, but I dive in deeper to all those tips and tricks so you're not having to forget some of these little things that can make a big difference when it comes to sleep. And I share some other areas there where you're going to be recreating the sleep environment, how to help your little ones adjust. So rather than getting into all of those details, and you may have heard some of these along the way, but I've put it in a one-stop shop. You'll see a podcast video that I did talking about play on the go. So hopefully that encourages and inspires you to look at the things that you have. Again, some of this is not about buying new things. Sometimes it's taking a look at what you have and repurposing it on the go to make it more exciting and enjoyable for your little one. Grab that sleep success while you travel and you'll have everything in one place. Now, another piece I want you to think about when you're traveling is thinking about transitions. Most families are not taking this into consideration as they're planning their time. Most of the time when we think about transitions, I'm thinking about different locations, things we're doing. Realistically, children can really handle 1 to 2 transitions. Here's what I mean. Think about the journey of getting out of the house with your child. It's a full round trip, getting into the car seat, out of the car seat. So thinking about one round trip. So maybe I'm going to go to Starbucks, we're going in, we're going out. Then we stop at Target, we're going in, we're going out. And then we go to the park, we're going in, we're going out. Those are 3 transitions. And so it's a lot on you as the parent, and it can be a lot on our little ones. And so that coming and going can be a little bit overwhelming for little bodies. And so I share that just because when I'm making those decisions about going out and about, I'm thinking about my well-being and my mindset as I'm making the decision to do those transitions. I'm also thinking about my little one and what they can and can't handle. And one of the biggest tip-offs that I will share with you and children that can deal with these transitions is looking at who our little one is. Knowing and understanding their temperament and what they are able to handle is most beneficial, but also noticing your temperament and what you can really handle can make a big difference. So when you're planning your travels, when you're thinking about who you're going to visit, where you're going to go, those are some things to really pause and take into consideration so that you can enjoy whatever it is that you are doing. So think about how many different locations are you going to? What does that travel look like? The families that I have supported as a postpartum doula and as a sleep coach have found that like when they can minimize the amount of transitions, they are much happier. They've had much more successful trips. And I know sometimes it's not possible and we're trying to jam in so many things. I would even share with you that children in general have a hard time with transitions all the way up through elementary age. So some things you might want to consider is like, how do we minimize that? And when possible, can you have family come to you so you have the comforts of home? Now, I know that's not always possible, but that's something to stop and consider as you're thinking about the holiday plans. This is true for any kind of travel, no matter what season you are in. I recently had a couple families travel internationally, and they really tried to jam in multiple visits to different countries with different family visits. And so one of the things that was a big takeaway that they learned that they're going to change how they do things in the future was they were like, we're going to pick one location. We're going to just travel and consider something maybe in the morning and something in the afternoon. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to planning around those play windows, thinking about that one outing that you're going to do in that window. Of course, we can nap on the go. Doing what works to help fill the sleep tank is always going to be best. And that creates a lot less stress and a lot less anxiety when it comes to thinking about we've got to get back to the hotel or to the house to get that nap in place. Children actually can show us they're pretty resilient and flexible and adaptable when we give them the opportunity. The next tip I'll share with you is thinking about the feeding routines. That's right. I know you're focused on getting sleep, but I want you to think about the flow and rhythm of your feeding routines, especially when you're away from home. Sometimes those can escape us, and that can actually throw your sleep off. So be sure to think about and have a plan of action and maybe pack some snacks to help you along the way when you're traveling. Part of the issue when you are traveling internationally is that you might be crossing over multiple time zones, which can affect your circadian rhythm. Your circadian rhythm is your body clock. and our body clock likes to be regular, which is why feeding routines can be really helpful. One of the things to think about is how that's going to affect your circadian rhythm when you're on the go. So looking to use a tool like a jet lag calculator can oftentimes help you understand when to give your body more light or dark, and also adjusting some of your meal times to the new time zone that you are in. Now, I'm going to share a couple different resources with you down below so you can check out which jet lag calculator you might like. Some are free and some are paid. And I've recently been learning a lot more about some of the simple and easy things we can do with light and darkness. And there is a tool where you can learn a little bit about acupressure, where there are things you could do naturally to your body and to your child to allow for you to be able to make some of these adjustments and improve the jet lag you might be experiencing. Oftentimes one of the big things I share is that sometimes if we're not going to sleep at the same time during the day and at the same time at night, our bodies can feel a little bit jet lagged. And that is sometimes what can cause some of those nap time issues. So becoming aware of the rhythm and flow that you are creating with your little one on the go can be very helpful. And making adjustments through those first 3 to 5 days and using the jet lag calculators can be a helpful tool in your back pocket to help you make that transition with ease. Now, one of the things that can be a little bit stressful when you're on the go is that oftentimes as our babies are getting to become older infants, they're more mobile, they're crawling and they're getting into things, they're walking and toddling around. Children are naturally curious. So one of my best tips is to really teach them about the one finger touch. I'm going to link the podcast episode down below in the show notes so you can get all of the details. But when you help your child be able to explore their environment, it brings in a lot less stress. Oftentimes you might not realize how many times you're telling your child no to things. And when you cultivate and create this sort of language with your little one, where you're saying yes more often and you're okay, you've taught them what to expect when they're out and about, it makes a huge difference in your routines. And it eases a lot of the stress and tension so that you and your child can explore and enjoy the things that you're doing and seeing, and whoever you are visiting with can be just a really enjoyable, fun time together as a family. So be sure to watch the One Finger Touch podcast so you can get the full scoop on how to do that. And especially as you're going into the holiday season, this is a great time of year to start practicing this, especially if you have an older infant or a toddler. It was one of my favorite things to do with my kiddos. Now, lastly, something that we don't often think about is that when we travel, sometimes we are going to be exposed to germs, and sometimes sickness can happen, especially if we're flying in the cold and flu season. So one of the things that I highly recommend, I've started sharing this with all of my sleep coaching and postpartum doula clients, is be sure to record your child's breathing. What I mean by that is like when you're doing a diaper change, maybe as you're getting them dressed, go ahead and record so you can see what their natural rhythm and pattern is for breathing. So if and when your child gets sick, you can notice if their breathing pattern has changed, because oftentimes this can create a lot of stress and overwhelm for parents. And so I learned this from Courtney Miller with The Better Boob, and I'm including the reel where I learned this and why I share this with families, because it has been a game changer to help families be well, especially in these sick seasons. So one of the big things, hopefully you're learning and taking away from my travel tips, is when we take a little bit of time to do some planning and some thinking about things ahead of time, it makes things so much easier. There's so many things when we're traveling that are outside of our control. But when we take a moment to have a little bit of a plan and recognize the need for flexibility, things go much smoother. And the families that I work with transition to this place where they're going into things feeling more rested, they're feeling more calm and confident as they're doing the things, which is why I'm excited to share this with you, because I know it works. I have seen it change families' lives, and I know that it has helped me take the overwhelm and the stress and anxiety away from traveling. I hope this helps you have some better tips as you go into the travel season with your little one, whether you're traveling near or far. Hopefully this will help you be able to sleep with ease and have sanity while you're on the go. And I would love to hear if you have any travel tips. Post them down below in the comments so that I can also share those with my families. And if there's something that I'm missing, let me know. I'm always looking for some tips and tricks to make things easier, especially when we're trying to get sleep on the go. Till next time, sweet dreams. Thanks for tuning into today's show. You can see all of the details and show notes below. And as you go out into your day, I hope that you'll make it your mission to be calm, confident, and rested as you lead today. Sweet dreams.